We're continuing on with our player preview series, and today the conversation is going to be about Ansley Almonor. That's who we're talking about on today's episode of the Wildcats Today Podcast. I'm your host, Andrew Stefaniak, writer and editor over at Wildcats Today, joined as always by my co-host, who is actually the real writer over at Wildcats Today currently, Carson Nash, because I'm in Spain right now, hopefully not with a bullhorn in my leg or anything like that. But I'm in Spain. So, Carson, how you doing? It's still the same day. I keep asking you how you're doing, but it's the same day as the last time I asked you how you're doing. How are you doing differently than 15 minutes ago?
Yeah, after all this writing, I kind of feel like Edgar Allan Poe. It's just,
You look like Dr. Seuss. Simple as that. No question there. But Edgar Allan Poe, you know what? Okay, now come on now. Go ahead and get rid of that.
There's Dr. Seuss.
Go ahead and get rid of that. Go ahead and get rid of that. Now, question. What NFL team was named after something written by Edgar Allan Poe, Carson?
The Ravens.
Wow. I'm going to be brutally honest with you. I did not think there was a way in the world you were going to know that. That was a great poll.
Quick, right?
That was quick too. That was really impressive. I'll give you that. I'm honestly like genuinely shook that you knew.
Yeah, I'm smarter than I look.
Yeah, you are. But so, Carson, we talked about Colin Chandler last episode. Today we're talking. Well, today once again, this was 10 minutes ago. But Ansley Almonor, we said that Colin Chandler is the biggest, question mark, and he is. But I think the next guy below him has to be Ansley Almonor. And I'll tell you, I'm really excited about him. I loved his personality, seeing him at that one camp. He's a great person. He was great with kids. He's an all-around great player. So, Carson, quick hit thoughts. We'll get to roll in a minute. What gets you excited about Ansley Almonor, the Farley Dickinson transfer, as a player?
Yeah. Well, first off, what gets me excited is kind of his, the way he approaches everything. So when he committed and he posted his commitment picture, someone commented and said, "Do you hate Louisville?" And he responded back. He goes, "Now I do." Mm-hmm. And so he gets me fired up. He feels like he's so much about Kentucky. And in an interview, he was like, "Yeah, I think this is a perfect fit for me." But Pope said he didn't promise any playing time. So I'm going to go to Kentucky. And this is literally a quote. He said, "I'm going to work my ass off and I'm going to play. I'm going to play because I'm going to work my ass off." And so that gets me fired up because he's coming in and he's trying to get to number 9 and he's doing it by hard work. And so that really makes me like Ansley and confident in his abilities.
No question there. Now listen, he's listed at 6'7", 232. He's a built dude, not someone I want backing me down at the YMCA. Those are the people that I tend to just go home if they're in the gym. But, great build to him. It looks like he's actually put on a little bit of a muscle this offseason. He was listed on ESPN right here at 6'7", 219. So he's gotten a little bit stronger, which is great. I mean, playing in the SEC, you can always use that extra muscle. But, he's an interesting player because he is a 6'7", 4/5. How is that going to work in the SEC? In the whatever Farley Dickinson's in, maybe that works. In the SEC, is that going to work? The numbers don't lie, Carson. I mean, 16.4 points per contest, 5.1 rebounds, 1.7 assists. He also shot 39.4%. I mean, he's a really solid basketball player. And another thing, I said on the show about Colin Chandler, film don't lie. Film don't lie here about Ansley Almonor. Great basketball player. My question has to do with what is his role and what is he going to play? Like, that is my thoughts here. So, Carson, when it comes to him on the basketball court, what do you like about Almanor?
Well, yeah, he like he said, he fits our system perfectly. So there's a stat. I think it was 45% of his games he made over 4 threes. And
wild.
so That's
for a 4 or 5. I mean,
yeah, for a 4 or 5, that's nuts. And you're right. 6'7" at the 4 is going to be a little tougher in the SEC, but he did go and guard Zach Edey and led Fairleigh Dickinson to a win over Purdue as the small ball 5 for Farley or Fairleigh Dickinson, however you want to say it. So I think his physicality, and yeah, you're right, he's put on more muscle. You can tell. So he's bulking up. The person I would kind of compare him to a little bit, now he's a much better shooter, but probably not as sound on the defensive end. He kind of reminds me of a Josiah Jordan James, as in the fact is he's like a small ball 4 that brings the physicality and can definitely play the position, but is just a little undersized. So I think he's one of the guys that fits our system the best. If I'm going to be honest, he came here knowing exactly his role, knowing exactly what he's going to do. So I don't like Colin Chandler being the mystery guy. I think this is the guy that knows his role the most, and is willing to play that.
And what I love, Carson, is the fact that he's willing to come here and fight for minutes. You got to remember, while these players are teammates and brothers and they love one another, they're here to play. You know what I mean? And he's going to work his behind off to get on the floor. And I love that mentality. Because it's what you got to have. I mean, you know that. I mean, playing sports, people want to play over you. You know what I mean? You want to play over, but whatever it is, which other side, if you're the starter, someone wants to take your minutes. If you're the bench guy, you want to take someone's minutes. And regardless, you have to work hard to make sure that happens or that doesn't happen. And,
unless you're like me and Andrew playing for Catholic football, we kind of just didn't want to play.
No, yeah, we really were Carson. For how good we are, I think at other sports, we were both great baseball players. We were so bad at football.
Horrible.
We were so awful.
We just didn't want to be there.
No, that was really rough. We're not going to tell some stories about how much we didn't want to be there in case we got any former Catholic football alumni listening, but we were definitely happy when some of the seasons came to an end. We just weren't good, man. We were so bad. I don't know why we were
beat up. I was undersized in high school, and
in high school I was undersized. I mean, I was when we were playing, I was only 6 foot. I mean, I wasn't as tall as I am now then. But the problem with us was that we'd never played before. I'd never played football before. We started freshman year of high school. We just weren't good at it. We didn't have the technique and the understand. Yeah, that's a story for another day. We can pull up the film on that. It ain't hard to prove how bad we were. But
at least Stefaniak, you ain't got any better.
Yeah, former Kentucky football. No, Mark Perry is still on the staff. Current Kentucky football coach Mark Perry told me that, which is he was right. I mean, there's no hard feelings there. No hard feelings about the trade.
No,
but Almanor is a player. I think he's gonna be a legit dude for this basketball team. And while I know he's talking about I'm fighting for my role, I'm not guaranteed anything, and I believe that's true. He's gonna be on the floor. He's too good of a player to not be on the floor. I think he's gonna play. I think he comes in for Carr, and he's gonna play 15, maybe 13 minutes a game. You got to remember, Coach Pope. Look at his team last year. Even his best players are only playing 28, minutes. There's nobody out there playing 37 minutes, And so Almanor is going to get some time relieving Andrew Carr, I believe.
Yeah.
So, I'm, in all honesty, really excited to see how this pans out, how this plays out, because I think he's the guy who's going to have a super significant role for this basketball team.
Yeah, and he's one of those guys where you can kind of get a little experimentative with these lineups, because you've seen Carr, you think he's taller than 6'11".
I think he's 7 foot. Just haven't seen him in person now.
Yeah. So you could maybe throw him at a 4 with the Carr at the 5, and then just go straight shooting lineup and just try to outscore your opponent. And then maybe you could even work him in at the 3 some, depending how big you want to go. So it's a good piece to have. And like I said, he knows his role. He's here to work.
Yeah.
He has the grit. He's been betting on himself for a while now. Out of high school, he had no offers. Yeah. He decided to go to the Bronx to play an extra year, to work to get those offers, and ended up going to college. And then And he said, Kentucky is the gold standard. Kentucky is where I wanted to be my whole career, and he's going to earn it. I guarantee you that.
Yeah. So here's my last question before we call it a day, Carson. Let's just say he plays 13 minutes a game. I think that's a fair number. That would, assuming Carr plays 27. So here's my question for you. If Almanor plays 13 minutes a game this season for the Cats, he's a legit every time, every game off the bench guy. In those 13, we'll say anywhere from, a range from 11 to 15 minutes. If he plays that, how many points do you think he averages this season? Ballpark guess.
I think he will average 8 points a game.
I was going to say 7. So that's right around there. Because I think he's the guy that needs the basketball. He can pass, he can shoot, he can help you on the board.
I think he'll knock down probably 2 threes a game.
And he's also not a defensive liability too. That's the best part about him is like when he's out there, he's not going to be now unless he's going against a crazy. I mean, even again, he's played against taller defenders. At playing his position at his size, he's used to it. We just talked about Edey. I mean, he was listed as the starting center against Purdue when they beat Purdue in a couple years ago in the tournament. So he's guarded taller players. He knows how to handle himself. He's not a defensive liability. So that's why I think that you can't not have him on the floor. He comes in, he'll grab you some boards, he'll make some threes, he'll score the basketball. There's no reason to not have him out there on the floor this year.
Yeah.
So
I agree.
Carson, any other thoughts before we call it a day?
No, that's pretty much all I got. I think he's going to be a really good piece. I'm excited for him for sure.
Yep. Likewise, I am right there with you. That is going to do it for today's episode of the Wildcats Today podcast. Thank you all so much for being here every single day. So this is Tuesday's episode. So we will see y'all on Thursday. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. We really appreciate it. Everybody have a great rest of your week, and we will see you next time.